And we on.
Yo, yo, yo. What's up, good people? Thanks for tuning in to Straight Up Talk. We hitting you with another episode. Another episode. It's your boy Fleet Jones.
It's your boy Mo Green.
And we here. We here with a question, a couple questions, but the main topic is is love worth it?
Mm.
Has it been worth it? Just think about now. Is it today's now? Is it worth it now?
That's a good question. Is it worth it now? Back in
Yeah.
the day, you realize, like you said, you made a clear distinction. Now, we're not talking about in the 80s. We ain't talking about in the 70s. We ain't even talking like the early 90s. We talking about right now. Is it worth it?
Is it worth it? Because when you think about worth, it has to have a value, right?
Exactly.
So what do you value love? What's your value for love? I want the audience to think about this. What's your value for it? And,
Mm.
how much is it worth for you? 'Cause everything has I ain't gonna say dollar sign, but has a a value. A
Mm.
commerce exchange has an equal exchange.
Hmm.
So what exchange are you getting from love?
Well, you know what, Fleet? That was a good question to our audience, but I'm gonna speak on something piggybacking off of what you said, the value. And now, right now, in this time and era, we're dealing with people that value, they consider value as a form of currency. So, for
Hmm.
example, if you could deal with a woman right now and she wants you to throw in all your chips, she wants you to
Hmm.
throw in all your money, everything. And you ask her, well, what are you bringing to the table? What are you bringing to this relationship?
Hmm.
And she say, my love. So a lot of times women use love as an equivalent to currency, which it's not. Love is should be just automatic, but um, women are now selling love for pay for currency.
Yeah, they selling it just like they sell box. They
Mm,
selling everything. Everything
mm.
has nowadays a dollar sign to it. But now, what's what's love's equal medium of exchange? Let's use the right terms. Medium of exchange.
Okay.
It's-
Well,
it's-
I'm saying with love, and let's if we're talking, if we're going to be realistic, and if we're going to be like just right on realistic is currency. This is the way that the
mhm,
world is warped to think. Women are to
mhm.
think that currency equals love, relationship, and as long as the currency is there and you being a beta, then they're in heaven. They're in happy land. But love is truly supposed to be a form of sacrifice and conditional love. I didn't
Mhm.
say unconditional, conditional love.
Yeah.
Um, and that's what love is really supposed to be. You know what I'm saying?
And that kind of makes me think like, does love really exist? Because if it has to have a value, does it really exist? Because, and I read this article and I'm into the science. It's a North Carolina professor that actually got me wondering because she says it doesn't exist. It's just, a channel. Because
Mm.
the way she explained it is it's a channel, and then you can only love someone if you next to them. So, not saying like, okay, you got you're distant from each other. Well, at that state, there's no love. There's no you may be connected, but there's no love. So she put it as love is just like small micro channels that both just connect. So I took it as like, for example, if you have a gaming system, maybe an Xbox or PlayStation. Now you can have the wire controller, but the wireless controller is some type of connection with that. And I was putting that as, damn, that could be love. So if I got my controller connected to this Xbox, and then now I can control and demand what I want the Xbox to do. Now, if I bring my controller to your house, it's not going to automatically connect, right? I got
Right.
to I got to do a couple things just to make that connection. And I was looking at that in the terms of love. Love. You got to make that connection to even do all the other things. So with that said, I believe we are thinking this love is something just completely, totally different. And I had to look it up.
Right.
And the etymology of love is just desire.
You know what? I'll say this: love is strictly an emotion.
Hmm.
It's an emotion.
That you
So
could turn on and off.
right, and it look as an emotion, just like energy, is something that you cannot see.
Hmm.
You see what I'm saying? In a physical form. So therefore, with emotion, we physically have to show some kind of expression to let the other person know that you are, let's say, love them or in love with them, or some kind of love being shown. You have to express it physically for that other person to see. If not, then they can't read your mind. They can't read that emotion.
Hmm.
So, piggybacking off of what you said, I believe that emotions is, like I said, I feel love is an emotion,
Hmm.
but it's a look at it like this: you have emotions to love this woman, and you're a beacon.
Hmm.
You're flashing.
But how did you get that?
Right. It's your emotion that stirred that up. Think of like a beacon, a light bulb going
Uh-huh.
off above your head.
Yep.
That's your emotion, right? Now, you have to build that connection with that
Yep.
person so they can, so you can transfer, I say that form of emotion, energy, because that's what
Hmm.
it is, to that person. That's why it's so hard
Hmm.
for long-term relationships to work, is because the frequency, that sequence is so far away. The only way you could talk to them is through the phone. And I'm
Yeah.
saying voice works, but it only works so much. You have to
Yeah.
actually have that physical being next
Yeah.
to you to feed off that energy. So
Yep. You have to have that. I would say contact, not just like you have to touch them, but
no,
that bubble, that circle. You have
right.
to physically. You have to connect. You have to connect those. There's a certain range, just like I use with the controller. There's a certain range where your controller just
There
stop
you
working.
go. There you go. And then with that range, think of it. Range, put that
Hmm.
to the equivalent of miles. So if you're in California and your girl is in Texas,
Hmm.
y'all out of range. Y'all out of sequence.
Y'all,
You know what I'm saying?
got a lot of range. It
Yeah,
sounds good,
right, right, right,
but you out of range.
right.
So now you said transfer, which that gets me to my next question. What's the benefit that you get from loving those that do?
Okay. The benefit.
Like what benefits does someone get from loving
See,
someone?
that's the whole thing. If it's genuine, you're getting how can I say, a feeling of it won't, I can't say accomplishment, but you get a feeling of not acceptance. It's a feeling like okay, I'm happy. You know what I'm saying? It's an emotion. It's still an emotion. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? So all
Yeah.
you get out of that is a feeling. Now, like I said, now today's time, you get currency. So they get their love and their
Hmm.
feelings from a currency which they can buy and feel good even more. So it's
Hmm.
like a double whammy for them. You know what I'm saying? Because the
Hmm.
love is not genuine.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah.
And another point is definitely not genuine. And the reason why, because half these people don't love themselves. So how can they give love or even produce it when they don't even love themselves?
Mm. Yeah, that's
That's That's one of the first stages right there. That's like
True.
trying to take marriage advice from someone that's not married. Like, hold on, what are you doing, bro? Like,
Right. Right.
so for someone not to love themselves and to try to say, "Ooh, I'm in love," yes, it ain't worth it.
Well, see, that's the thing. That was the topic. I mean, we're trying to touch on all aspects, so
Mm-hmm.
so nobody's lost. But is love truly worth it?
Yeah.
Love isn't worth it unless you find that equal person that has the same goals as you.
Mm-hmm.
If you're genuine about a love, emotion, a transfer of natural positive energy, and that person's on the same page, and it's about that,
Mm-hmm.
then that's good. Now, where it gets wicked is when people have different agendas. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And a lot of times, really, when you go into love, it's always was told to me, love is the most beautifulest pain a human can experience.
Mm-hmm.
This is fact. So, with that being said and done, I believe, hell no, love ain't really worth it.
Yeah.
Because one, you gotta love yourself too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And sometimes love, just loving yourself and caring for yourself, is more important than getting that acknowledgement from another being. You know what I'm saying? Because other people let you down. Shit, we let people down. We let each other
Mm-hmm.
down. So how can you put so much uh, trust in someone just for the feeling of love?
Yeah.
Mm,
That's just that misconception. Love
true.
is love is quick. Once you make that connection, it's done. You just obligated. Back to the same thing. Controller. You make that connection. Now it's obligated. That system has to do what the controller say. You're
But
obligated. That's like
go ahead. I'm
how
listening to
you
you.
like for example, how you really know you love your kids, or are you
How do
just
you-
obligated?
Hey, you love your kids when you sacrifice. Let me tell you that when your butt sacrifice, you love your kids when you're willing to give your last, when you're willing, when you don't want to see them hurt. Yes, you're emotionally invested into your kids, but on the biggest note, you have sacrificed. I said it at the beginning. When you can sacrifice for one, especially upgraded you,
Hmm.
that's how you know you love.
But is that a obligation? Is that a duty? Is that a description?
I think it's both. I think it's both as a moral obligation to yourself. When you help create life,
Hmm.
then automatically your emotions is in tune to that, and then that's all also comes with your upbringing. You know what I'm saying? If
Hmm.
you weren't brought up that way, then you're not gonna be that way. So I think it runs hand in hand. It runs hand in hand.
That's like if you get a job, it's your list of duties. Well, I guess I got to love these duties. But no, those are just your duties. That
Right.
comes with the job or the title that you have. So if you got the title of father, well now you got these list of duties you have to do. But how do you really know that you love your children or your spouse?
Is
Is
because you're emotionally invested in a job or duty. You're not emotionally invested. When
Mhm.
it comes down to human life, creation, or let's just say a covenant between you and someone else, that's emotionally being invested in that individual.
But is an investment a contract? Investments is still a contract, which comes with a list of duties and roles.
Well, I'm saying I agree with you, but that's more you're talking you're trying to mix business with personal, and that's something totally different. Business, you're getting some kind of currency for putting in your time at this establishment with your kids, with your significant other. You're not getting, okay, forgive me on that you're not getting any type of currency. That's totally different. Business and personal is different. You're not getting
Hmm.
paid for your personal, but that's what today is. People want everything to be a form of payoff currency.
Hmm.
They don't give a fuck about feelings. We're more worried about, well, if you love me, you'll buy this car for me.
Mm-hmm.
If you love me, you'll buy this house for me. You'll
Uh-huh.
ask me, you'll be like, wait, this is what I'm bringing to the table. Men always do this. I'm bringing point A, B, C, and D. I'm bringing this to the
Mm-hmm.
table in our relationship. Can I ask you what you bring to this relationship? And you'll get this. Uh, uh, I'm bringing love. Like love is supposed to be this currency. It's like what, man? That's why I say ask these questions.
Mm-hmm.
Ask these
Yeah.
questions. You gotta ask and be like, hey, look, what do you see in me? What is it that attract you to me? What is it?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times women be like, you dress nice and
Yeah.
you got swag and you
You
just
got potential.
handsome.
Or you
Right,
you
right.
got
You be like,
potential.
right. And I'm like, okay, you're saying I'm a beautiful gift, but what about me inside that box? What do you
Mm-hmm.
see? What is it that you just I just feel your energy. That bullshit, right? And
Yep, exactly.
you be like, okay, then all right. And then you gotta ask questions.
Yeah.
So look, this is the thing. When you ask these questions, if a woman ever tell you, dang, you asking so many questions, why? Is because you giving me vague ass answers. You
Exactly.
giving me shallow ass answers. That's why. That's why. That's why. And you're attracted to either my car, my watch, or whatever, however I'm peacocking, it caught your attention. And that's what you're in love with. You're not in love or you don't like the person within that's under all this materialistic shit. You
Mhm.
guys gotta start asking, or either you don't ask and you find yourself in a situation where you're gonna be paying.
Yeah, paying, paying a lot. Love makes the perception that people think that love is makes people do the wrong things or make the
Mhm.
wrong decisions based off
Mhm.
of belief. Sometimes I think it was just planted just for that,
Well,
just to throw people off.
you know what love was, right? Back in, I would say this is all new, man.
Hmm.
Love is a business.
Hmm.
Love is a business. Love is strictly for the business and to take money from the consumer. So
Hmm.
that's why they build Valentine's Day.
Yep.
In Chicago, y'all got Sweetie Day or something like that, right?
Sweetest day, yeah.
Sweetie's
Y'all don't
Day.
celebrate that out there?
Hell no, man. What I only heard about that shit, man. I was like my man out in the shop, so I know he doing that shit. But no, we don't on the west. We don't know no Sweetie Day. We like what? What the hell? But like I say, these ideas of love is strictly for business. They want you to
Hmm.
spend, and
Yep.
now it's been adopted. The people feel that what these business Mongols, hey, we throwing this out here. They now feel that you don't love me if you don't get me this, or you don't love me if you don't buy me that. So
Hmm.
the whole thing of love and relationship is completely warped. You know what
Yes.
I'm saying? Um, is love worth it? I don't
Yeah.
believe love is worth it because love can be very fulfilling. That's the meaning.
Yeah.
That's the emotion I was talking about, fulfillment. So
Hmm.
love can be very fulfillment. It could be fulfillment, and it could also be detrimental. You can
Yes.
also it can also be the most horrible pain you ever felt.
Yeah.
But as men, we got to check.
Got to
Well, that's
check.
that's the
Yeah.
whole thing. We check. A lot of us still go by that old school rule: have your emotions in check. But nowadays, it's more like men have been programmed to be very emotional, so
Hmm.
they're not able to deal with that. Is because we're not built to deal with that, and things happen, man. Things
Yeah.
happen.
Things
So,
happen. So I honestly would like people just to measure love. How do you measure your love for someone? Because then you'll truly know if love is worth it or
mm,
not. So with that said, man, It's your boy Fleet Jones.
It's your boy Mo Green.
And you know what we always say, the sky's the limit. We're going to continue to go straight up.
Peace.